scene from Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
The stampede.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no, sad memories, childhood, down the drain. There we go. All right, so we can probably get started early if you guys want. Let's do that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you guys ready? You guys pumped?
Is it recording?
On your mark, get set, go.
Hello and welcome to the Hindsight Grad Show Podcast. This is a show dedicated to highlighting the visual communications grad class of 2020 while building community connections. On the show, we will be speaking with students of the visual communications graduating class, as well as local artists, designers, teachers, and business owners. I should point out the fact that this is the last year that it will be called visual communications as well. It will be changing to art and design in the fall of 2020. So, here to talk about art, life, and everything in between, we have two students today, technically four, along with Mikal and I. We've got Rachel Condon.
Hi.
And Ms. Maggie May.
Hello.
Hello. This is going to be, I think, an interesting show because you guys have similar not similar grad projects, but like similar styles and similar interests. And I guess, yeah, technically, like grad projects that are on the same, in the same medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys doing? Maggie, do you want to start?
I gotta start. Well, mine is a comic, and it's based on a story that I've been working on since I was 7 years old. It's really important to me, and a lot of it, when I started off, was just like, when I was younger, it was just like happy-go-lucky, like characters and everything. And then as I got older, like themes changed. Things that from my life I added to it, and then it was just, it kind of, in hindsight, changed.
Okay.
See what I did there?
Yes, puns, exhilarating. So it's been like a story, like the characters have evolved with you.
Yes, like it's kind of like they were children as well when I was a child, and then they grew up with me as I was growing up. And the themes went from just happy to really kind of a little more serious.
Mm. So are you going to incorporate that into like a trilogy, or like not a trilogy, but like, are you going to incorporate those original stories? Are you going to like do the happy-go-lucky thing eventually and then have the stories build up?
There's going to be themes where at times it's happy, but my main goal throughout the entire story, when I, like, because for my grad show, I'm doing just like the first chapter, and then hopefully after that, it carries on. But the entire story as itself, it's not, hopefully it's not going to be like a light story. It's going to touch on a lot of different topics, like abandonment, fear, adult content warning.
Adult content?
Well, kind of like in the sense of trauma, adult content warning, sort of, kind of. But that's not my grad project, so
right.
It's good.
That's good. And then Rachel, what are you doing with yours?
I'm doing a series of 5 illustrations, at least hopefully 5. It's going a little slower than I wanted right now, but 5 illustrations dealing with things like depression, mental health, my experience with borderline personality disorder,
Okay.
Stuff like that, kind of abstract, surreal paintings, digital paintings. They don't really have set themes other than they're about mental health and different mental states. I'm not really sitting down and saying, oh, okay, so this is going to be about dissociation and then painting that. They're just kind of coming to me, and I'm expressing that through the illustrations I'm doing.
Okay. Interesting. And so, like, have you been doing art since you were, like, a kid as well?
Yeah, I remember being in preschool, and I was young for preschool, and everyone else was just still doing that thing where they, splatter paint on the canvas. And I was just like, I want to draw a tree and a sun and a house. And so I've been doing art since I was really little and writing my own stories and doing books and picture books and things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And you you started out in the nursing program.
Yes, I started out in nursing program. I thought it would be a good idea. I had really good grades in school, and it seemed to be a good fit. I could do it locally, it would save money, and it would be a well-paying, pretty stable job. And it just wasn't for me. I had a lot of struggles, and it had to do with my mental health at the time. I had a lot of struggles. I made it through the first semester. I did it really well, but it was becoming dangerous, and I was pulled out of the program by family and therapists. And I took a year off, and then I was like, okay, I have to either go to work or get back to school. And I decided to go back to school, and I found this program, and I thought, this looks good.
That's awesome. And you've been enjoying it, right?
I have. I'm getting a little tired, to be honest, near the end. I'm learning that I like illustration more than graphic design, and I don't get to do as much of that anymore now that my electives are done. So I don't know what the future holds for me once I finish this program, but it's been an experience, and I've definitely had a lot of good experiences too.
Right. Did both of you extended the program as well?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
How long have you guys been in it?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years, 5 years, Macau? 5
Hey,
years?
same.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the nice thing about this program is if it's like a little too hectic at times, you can scale back and still accomplish
Yeah.
everything.
It's definitely helped. I don't think I could have done it if I had to do, 5 or 6 subjects a semester.
Yeah, that'd be a lot. Yeah. So overall, are there like what are you hoping? Do you guys have goals for after you've graduated? Are you going to work and then do projects individually, or like aside from work, or are you going to continue searching for a field, like a comic booking field or like a publishing?
Well, for me, my plan is to just kind of drift along in work at the time. Like, my plan is to maybe move up north. I'm not quite sure if that is the plan set in stone yet or not. But I plan to do stuff on the side as well as just do normal work, so that way I can pay my bills. So, but I want to get into like an illustrator job, either storyboarding, or hopefully if I continue with it, my comic become a web comic that I like put pages out like weekly. So
Yeah, that's cool.
For me, I kind of have a bit of a setback in that I have really strong abandonment issues and things like that, and separation anxiety. So I have to stay in Medicine Hat. I just can't leave it. I've tried before and I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm staying here, and my goal is really just to find a job that I don't absolutely hate with my mind and body. So something decent, and I would like, my biggest goal right now is I'd like just a small house of my own. I have a big collection of figurines and plush toys, and I just love to have them all on display. Right now I have one room to myself in my house. I'm living with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to just have space for all of my things. And I don't have a lot of aspirations other than just I want to work on me and be content.
That's good.
That's a really good goal to have in general.
Yeah, that's like, so I feel like, yeah, that's like the biggest.
Yeah.
Well done. Well
Thinking
done.
beyond just after grad, work, job stuff. Thinking
Yeah.
about life. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
no one can see it, but I am nodding. I was like here nodding.
Yeah. You just tap the mic every time you nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh wait, I have to say something.
Yeah, no, that's okay. What are you guys' biggest influences in terms of like illustration and comic booking for like characters or styles? Because I know that you guys have, like you said, you have a lot of figurines.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie, you've got some tattoos from like kind of like video games and like animes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I have a Sailor Moon, an Undertale, and a Overwatch one. And the Overwatch one is my favorite one at the time because shortly after I got it, I can't remember when I got it, we were playing Total Mayhem in Overwatch, and I got 135 hacks. And I wasn't trying, so I really like video games, but like those type of games where like there's heroes and stuff like that, those are kind of like my inspirations, like comic books. Like I don't want to say like the staple like Superman or anything, but like This is like a niche-ish kind of one. It's like Cyber 6. It's from like the 90s. It's really
remember that
old.
one.
Yeah, it's like a really old cartoon, and it was a Brazilian comic, animated by Japanese animation studio, and then put out in Canada, which is really weird because it was just bouncing all over the place. But like that's one of my like. It's kind of like my inspirations come from like weird sort of places, and also like ones where it's just like big companies like Blizzard that made Overwatch and World of Warcraft. So
I used to get a lot of inspiration from anime. My style originally was like a manga style. And I still find some inspiration in more surreal stuff like Junji Ito works, or there's an anime called Mushishi, which is really good. Check it out. But I find a lot more of my inspiration just from a few artists that I follow. Biggest one, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Claufier or S.A. Lieski, and Oliver Hybert is a really good one. But then the rest is just kind of from my own like dreams or thoughts. Music plays a lot of influence into my art, for sure.
Okay. What kind of music?
Usually like it ranges from like droney to I don't know, like just kind of abstract soundscapes, and some like I always tell people when they're asking how weird some of my music is that I listen to when I draw, I have one that's just static that is at different pitches at different times. It's the stuff that puts my head into a weird mind space that helps me kind of get the more weird feelings out.
Okay.
It's kind of meditative in a way.
Right. That's interesting. I never would have thought about just listening to static, but I can see how that would definitely like focus a certain part of your brain.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
Especially with your style, it's like you're listening to the void.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mikal, do you have inspirations in terms of growing up around like anime or comics or video
Not
games?
really.
No?
No, my childhood was limited. I didn't get to watch a lot of that stuff. The biggest anime I got into, I watched Inuyasha when I was about 8-9 years old. That was more nightmare fuel than artistic inspiration at the
Really?
time, but
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Everyone's kind of laughing and nodding. But
I'm not a huge
why.
fan of Inuyasha.
I was laughing because I knew Maggie doesn't like
I
Inuyasha.
do not like Inuyasha.
What is it about Inuyasha that just gets you?
I really don't like the main character. I think the only story I like in that whole anime is Sesshomaru and the little girl. I can't remember her name right at the moment, but that's the only story I actually enjoy in the entire anime. Everybody else, it's kind of like boring material where it's background noise. It's not like interesting to me.
I have no opinion. I saw like probably a total of 10 episodes of Inuyasha in my life on YTV late at night, sporadically
I'm sorry.
and separate.
Sorry, I had to deal with that.
Yeah, I know.
It's worse than the dub. The sub. Oh my god.
Dun, dun, dun.
I get
Worse than the sub.
Yeah, no. I watched most of my anime actually in my like later teen years, and I had found the internet.
Yeah. Do you guys watch like any? Like I'm a big fan of Attack on Titan.
Love Attack on Titan.
I haven't finished it yet.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
know.
started it yet.
I'm looking at
Oh.
Rachel right now.
I know. I invited Maggie over, and we had a marathon, and we almost finished season 1.
Yeah, and I haven't touched it since. So I mean, there's that. But I like right now. I haven't watched the recent season, but I really like My Hero Academia.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
My Hero's
really
good.
love the characters, except for Mineta, purple haired.
Mr. Ballhead.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody likes that
I
guy.
dislike that character
Yeah.
so
Nobody
much.
likes that guy.
No.
He's a little creep.
Yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
not
Oh, yeah.
not my cup of tea.
Looks like a little grape-headed baby.
I mean, he's wearing a diaper, so I mean,
Yeah. Is he actually wearing a diaper?
it looks like a diaper.
It looks like a
Oh,
diaper.
I never noticed that, but now.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you're gonna. You
Now
can't
I-
unsee it. You
It's
cannot
there.
unsee it.
And do you guys have? You guys have done like comic book festivals and stuff. Like, haven't you? Or like,
I've gone to
Yeah, I've been to a couple.
2. That's
Okay.
it. I haven't really participated in the artist alley.
yeah,
I was
Can't
going
find
to
it.
one summer, but the plans fell through.
right.
Other than that, I've been to the Calgary Expo twice, and it's really cool, but it's so exhausting, and I always spend way too much money.
Yeah.
So I've kind of avoided it since.
Mm.
It's a lot of shuffling your feet along instead of walking, and it kind of hurts.
Have you guys ever considered selling your art?
Kind of.
I've sold my art at Medelta.
Mm.
I have a
Uh,
Patreon.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I sold my art at Medelta one summer for their back when they still had a market
Cool.
during the summer.
Oh, they don't do that anymore?
Apparently not.
I'm not sure, but I know we get Anime Con every year.
I've seen that, and I've actually wanted to get a table, but I can never get the printing done beforehand.
Ah.
But I probably will look into it this year. I don't know when it is. It's in August.
August or September.
Yeah.
Start looking now if you want more info.
Yeah.
It'll show up soon.
Yeah. And if you guys have Patreons or websites or anything, we can definitely,
Plug
Throw a
'em.
link up.
plug them for sure. Do you
Right now, my Patreon doesn't have much. It's just early access to see the comic pages that I'm doing, which can change. So you get to see the process work as it's going, I guess.
Yeah.
So
That'd be kind of interesting. Maybe it'll spark some sort of like Indiegogo inspiration or something, and you can just get super whack famous.
yeah.
Yeah.
I dream high. Aim low.
Absolutely.
Aim low and avoid disappointment.
No.
That's my motto.
No.
We just don't want to become Icarus and fly too close to the sun here.
That's all good. You fly as high as you can.
I can't fly very high. I'm afraid
And
of
then
heights.
yeah, that's true.
I'm 5'1". I climb shelves. Well, I guess that doesn't mean I'm afraid of heights. So
No,
I
that
guess
means that means you're fearless.
Walmart stopped me.
Walmart stopped you.
No, I said Walmart stopped me.
Oh, okay.
It's a challenge.
I was like, you were climbing shelves at Walmart? What's going on?
I did once for cat litter.
Oh.
And then this dude walked around the corner. He's like, "Do you want me to grab that for you?" And I'm like, "Sure, thanks."
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah. Those shelves are scary.
I think that goes against some health and safety standards.
I mean, I'm not an employee, so
You just do whatever you want.
yeah, exactly.
Thank
The
you,
rules don't apply
Walmart.
to me. I can't read.
Oh, yes.
Is that just like dyslexia?
No,
It's
no,
a-
it's
it's
a
a
meme.
Oh, okay. I was just like,
it's a Arthur meme.
This sign won't stop me because I can't read.
Yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah.
But I do have a reading disability, so that
Accurate meme
Accurate.
is accurate.
this guy can't stop me.
Yeah. I am very outdated when it comes to memes and things. I just don't know.
There's some things I don't know, like VSCO girls. What are those?
No
Oh,
idea.
have you
don't-
heard how
I
they
feel
laugh?
old now. No.
Apparently, it's like it sounds like the bad guy from Care Bears almost. Like someone told me that. And I was like, I
What?
don't know how to feel. So I stayed away from
I
VSCO
feel so old.
intentionally. Yeah.
I'm a little afraid to find out what that is now.
Yeah.
I don't want to Google it, but at some point, someone's going
Here,
to
like-
show me, and I'll be like, oh.
Let's, Macau, would you like to Google it and try to find a VSCO girl laugh?
Oh, goodness.
How do you spell it? VSCO?
VSCO?
I think that's it. And then
Yeah.
there's like a boy or something like that version.
Ooh.
I don't know what it's called. I forget the name of it.
This is getting exciting.
I'm getting super behind on memes because I'm like not on
Yeah.
social media as much anymore.
Yeah.
I have a Discord, so I see
Oh, my.
interesting things.
All right.
Well, Google says that a VSCO girl is a fashion trend or subculture that became popular among teenagers in the summer of 2019. That's,
That's recent.
yeah,
It's
very, very
So
recent.
it's like a trend.
Apparently.
It's kind of
And
like,
as with most memes nowadays, VSCO girls are all over TikTok, apparently.
oh,
Everything for the TikTok.
TikTok's
old-
another demon spawn that I don't want to.
did you hear that
Oh.
Vine brought out a new app called Byte?
Ooh.
Why didn't they just keep Vine?
Because it was bought out by, who bought it out? I can't remember who bought it out.
Why didn't whoever bought it out just keep it as Vine? Vine
They
was so
bought
good.
it to crush it, but I think it was one of those companies that bought it to crush it so that theirs would stand out.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Adobe bought Macromedia Flash, and now Flash is useless now.
Yeah. That's fine. And now we
Buy
have
them out and then
TikTok.
they crush them down.
Woo,
Yeah. Yeah.
party.
I see a lot of videos from TikTok that I don't want to see again.
Yeah. Definitely. How's it?
We have a TikTok compilation of VSCO girls.
VSCO girl laughs or just like
Just VSCO girls. VSCO
Okay.
girl laughs is not a separate thing yet.
interesting.
No Rule 34 for that one yet.
Oh, jeez, Rule 34.
That's unexciting.
Yeah, you can sit here. Are you new? Wait. What is this? A plastic bottle? Are you kidding? You're destroying our planet. Do you have a hydro? You should get one. You know what? After school, I'll take you my white Jeep and we could go buy one. It's okay. I'll pay for it. Anything to save the planet.
Ooh,
Oh,
you
no.
caught it right at that end there.
What was that like? It was like a sprinkler.
Oh.
It sounds like when Ventrilo was like a big thing, and I used to put in a code, which was SOI, and it was like my Rafflecopter goes sway, 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 sway. And I would
You did that to me once.
I accidentally spammed my macro while in like a raid in World of Warcraft, and my guildies kicked me out of the vent because they got
Sway,
annoyed.
sway, sway,
'Cause
sway,
I
sway.
forgot that I didn't unbind the button, and I smacked it like 5 or 6 times,
Oh no.
and it was just going off in their ears, and they did not like that.
No, and booted.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get yelled at.
Full honesty, I would have booted you too.
I mean, I don't blame them, but it wasn't intentional.
Sway, 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 sway.
Yeah. And now
I'ma boot you. Oh.
but literally sounds like a bad guy from like a 90s cartoon.
Yeah,
Yep.
like that giggling dog thing from Moose and Squirrel. What was it? Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh gosh.
Was it the dog from that one? It was the same Hanna-Barbera. It's a dog from the Hanna-Barbera cartoon from like the 80s. It was like, it always giggled, and I can't do the sound. But
Was it raccoons maybe?
No, it wasn't raccoons. It was, I swear it was Rocky and Bullwinkle, but I don't think it's one of those ones. I'm not quite sure.
Muttley.
Muttley.
If it'll load, we'll have a sample of that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you look up the laugh from the bad guy from Care Bears? What's his name? The little floating dude. He's got like the propeller hat, I think.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I know what
I
am
can
picturing
envision
it.
him. I just can't remember his
Like-
name.
Beastly.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a girl.
Screechy?
Screechy, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Screechy was bad.
I hated Care Bears. My little brother liked it though.
Oh, here we go.
Throw him under a bus.
See if it'll load.
Yeah, there it is.
That's along the same lines. I feel like VSCO girl should get into voice acting
Yeah.
for laugh tracks only.
That might be a thing.
I
Yeah.
wanted to get into voice acting.
And
Yeah.
what happened?
I just don't have the courage.
You just don't have the courage.
No.
Well, it wouldn't be much different than this, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird. I don't know. I swear I can do the voice, and everyone says I can, but at the same time, I feel like they're just kind of flattering me. I don't know.
What's your best voice?
Krillin from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. But I don't know if I can do it on demand because I'm really nervous. I might mess it up.
That's
So.
all right.
Well, maybe we'll catch it another time.
Yeah.
I can't act. I just can't. I can hear it in my head, and then I try and read it, and then it comes off like this. I am acting.
So you'd be a really good actor for a robot.
Apparently.
That's Robots
like-
Part 2.
There was like a dude I worked with at McDonald's. He had like a really funny voice. His name was Larry. And he always talked like this, where he'd be like, guys, we're up a McChicken. And we always get him to like, hey Larry, what's on the landing pad? He's like, let me just check right here right now. And one time a phone call came in for Doug, and he's just like, Doug!
So Shout out to Larry for making McDonald's fun.
Larry
That's
was
awesome.
great. Larry was really nice too, but the dude had anxiety and his hands would
Aw.
shake the second he got into like a situation he couldn't handle.
Hmm.
It was just like, oh no.
Was McDonald's like a favorite job of yours?
It's one of my top jobs. It's
There's some antics,
there was some antics.
some
Antics.
I don't know
shenanigans.
if I'm allowed to tell those stories.
I don't think you should for your own job security in the future.
It's not
Just
that
keep
they're
it on the
bad.
down
The
level.
the tamest one I can tell is my manager set me up in the play place with graffiti remover. I don't know if you know, the play place is a very confined area, and graffiti remover is very, very smelly. And I came out of that play place high as a kite, and I was just like, I can't go in there anymore. And she got upset with me 'cause she's just like, I told you to clean it. I'm like, I did the best I could. Like, my head is just woozy right now.
Oh,
So-
no.
Graffiti
Wow.
remover is not the best smelling stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know what it's made out of, but it was strong.
Probably not something for human consumption.
Yeah.
Which is weird 'cause the play place structure.
Yeah. Those kids in their graffiti. Like little
Yeah.
6-year-olds in there. Their little slang words.
Yeah, that's what I was getting rid of. It was like, oh,
Was
joy.
Was there a lot of like profanity in there?
Yeah, the teenagers at nighttime, we had to close our locker and play place at nighttime because the teenagers would go in there and they'd climb through the play place structure. And this is how I found out our trays kept going missing, was because they'd take our trays and slide down the slide with them and break them and throw them in the trash can. But yeah, they would go up in there with Sharpies and just graffiti the shit out, sorry, pardon me. graffiti
The heck.
the heck out of that play structure, and it got replaced and painted over, but I guarantee you if you went to it today, it would probably, it's not in Medicine Hat, just saying that right now.
Okay, good.
It's
Good.
not in the hat, so
Good. You're
McDonald's don't kick me out.
safe. Yeah, you're safe, Medicine Hat. Rachel, do you have a favorite job?
I've actually, never really worked. I worked part-time well, I volunteered, I guess, at the hospital when I thought I was going to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And that was awful, just because I got the slowest floor and nothing happened. And it was really boring, but at the same time really stressful, because they would they'd be like, okay, now take water to all the rooms, but be careful because some patients can't have water or they'll die. And it's like,
I feel like you should have been supervised.
yeah, that's pretty intense. It was like, so I had to ask all of them if they were allowed water or not, which made my social anxiety go crazy. But sometimes they were asleep. So I was just like, if they had a cup of water, I would get them new water. If they didn't get any water. And if they woke up and wanted water, then I'd get them water. But no. So it was really stressful for that. But then I'd stand around and just fold and then unfold and then refold napkins and cloths, and that's all I would do.
That's
And
some really good problem solving, though. The whole just go off of what you got for evidence there.
Yeah,
Good on ya.
because I didn't have any supervision, and the nurses were doing nurse things, so I didn't want to bother them.
I hope they were doing nurse things.
They were doing nurse things.
Oh, man.
They were doing nurse things. I could see them. I was lurking. And then I did some counting for Canada Post once because my parents both worked there.
Okay.
That one was good because it was really short. It only lasted a week, and I got paid a lot of money.
That's good.
But I haven't really worked because every time I try and get a job, my anxiety and depression get so bad that I have breakdowns and I can't keep a job going. So I'm really I actually haven't done my work terms yet. So I'm not looking forward to this summer.
Yeah.
But I'll do my best. This time I have to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have tips or advice for how you deal with stressful situations or anxiety, that kind of thing?
Joking aside, don't be afraid to cry. It actually helps a lot. Get rid of a lot of negative emotion. Find someone that you can talk to. Don't keep it inside. And try to not listen to that negative voice that tells you can't do it, because if you quit, you're going to regret it.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Maggie?
just built a new house in Minecraft.
Just building your house.
Relatable.
Yeah.
It's last night I blew up, we had this little lake, but it wasn't deep enough for my liking, so I went and took TNT to it because it just was not deep enough and then I messed up the water.
Mm.
was not fun to fix that.
But yeah, and like that's a good thing though. Like find a hobby or something that you really like that you can use as a distraction, because it doesn't help to dwell on stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have tons of little hyperfixations that help me get through the day.
Yeah, that's good. We are out of time. That was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks again to our guests, Rachel Condon and Maggie May. And thank you for tuning into the Hindsight Graduation Podcast. To learn more about our grads and to listen to more podcast episodes, click like and subscribe. Grad Show MHC is on Facebook and Instagram. And don't be afraid to come check out our new website, hindsight.gallery, which Maggie is actually help building right now.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
You
I
got-
am currently having a coding issue with an image.
That's all right.
Shh, don't tell them.
Yeah, no one will notice if you don't
No
tell
one will
them.
see it.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah.
You'll fix it before then.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. See
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.